Welcome everyone.
Donc, bienvenue à tous.
Before we begin, I would like to note
Avant
that
de
this
commencer,
session will
je
be
voudrais
presented
savoir,
in
tout
English,
d'abord,
and
vous
there is
informer
an
que cette session
option
sera
for
présentée
live
en français,
French
mais il y a aussi une option
interpretation.
pour un service d'interprétation.
If you would like to access the French audio channel, you will find a globe icon in your bottom menu bar in your Zoom screen that will allow you to change the channel from English to French. If you have any questions, please add those to the chat and our production team will follow up with you. Now with that housekeeping introduction.
Voilà, donc ceci étant dit, bienvenue à tous qui nous rejoignent pour cette session live sur un peu le rôle de ce forum.
That joined us for our welcome address, welcome back. For those of you joining us for the first time, welcome to the first ever virtual Global Child Nutrition Forum. In the 22-year history of this event, there has always been a special emphasis on the development of a formal communique to serve as an advocacy tool for participants and to represent the collective voice of that year's audience in clarifying the collective focus of the global school feeding community in the coming year. And it can be used to guide the development of initiatives at the global, regional, and national level. It is a document that is carefully crafted by drawing input from government officials, private sector actors, nonprofit implementers, and research institutions. And a hallmark of the document has been to collaborate effort to ensure that there is a broad global representation in the participants contributing to what ought to appear in every year's Forum Communique. This year offers the unique challenge of having to develop this year's communique virtually. But within that challenge is an opportunity to incorporate the voice of a much broader audience than ever before. As we will discuss in today's session, the communique develops each year in a manner that sees new priorities surface over time as we learn more about what can make school meal programs successful. We will be taking time to review some of the key highlights in the communiques that have been developed over the past several years, with special emphasis on the 2019 communique. We will then plan to focus on the process through which we will develop this year's communique and how you all will be able to contribute to that process. After today's sessions have wrapped up, we will send out an email to all participants with a review of the day's sessions, recordings, as well as a link that will allow you to sign up to be a part of this year's core communique development group. But without further ado, to present this year's communique review, I would like to introduce Nadia Goodman, who has served as the lead facilitator in authoring the formal Forum Communique since 2013 and is joining us once again in our virtual forum. Thank you so much for joining, Nadia.
Thanks, Ryan. Thank you very much. I hope that, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So thank you very much, and I hope that everyone is fine. So what is a communique? A communique has been developed, as Ryan mentioned, in every forum. And the communique can be used to link different initiatives take place during the forum. And also as an advocacy tool that can be used following the forum at national, regional, and global levels. Before sharing about this year's plan to how we're going to plan develop the communique, I'd like to give you a quick overview about the communique and some highlights from the last 3 years. So in Canada in 2017, some of the key aspects was the discussion about the legal framework, the integration of school feeding into national policies and plans, the importance to develop nutrition-sensitive approaches and robust monitoring evaluation systems, and integration the integration of gender considerations when a stakeholder is developing a school feeding program. In Tunisia in 2018, the importance of the school feeding into the contribution to the SDGs, the high-level political will and interministerial integration when in developing a school feeding program. Again, about the nutrition-sensitive school feeding programs to support gender equality and equity. Shock-responsive school feeding programs to provide social protection and safety net non-crisis and crisis situation. And the best practice and sharing learning in South-South cooperation is very important, how countries can share among each other. In 2019 in Cambodia, some of the key kind of highlights was the impact of climate change on the food system should be considered. Supported the development of a toolkit for governments seeking partnership with the private sector. Partnerships is crucial, formed with shared objectives to improve the quality, expansion, and sustainability of school feeding programs. Share lessons learned and best practice and report during the forum. And also the importance of having a global digital platform to ensure open access to documents on the school feeding programs. Engage with governments to explore cross-sectoral opportunities and make the Communique a useful action planning tool until the next forum, which is the current forum. So for this year, as Ryan mentioned, we are going to have a different kind of way to develop this Communique. We are planning to identify 10 to 12 people to work on the draft of the Communique. The group will meet virtually several times in the next couple of weeks to develop this draft. But all participants will have access to read the draft and submit their comments during the period of 2 weeks. The public link to the draft and the feedback survey will be made available throughout the forum in the GCNF virtual marketplace booth. So what is going to be a draft document will be developed. The aim is to have this draft document developed by the group, but having inputs from all the participants who would like to submit their comments by the 9th of November for final comments. That's the deadline. And then the final communique will be read and shared to all participants on Thursday, the 12th of November. So we would like to request the representation and representatives from different countries and areas of the world, from the Northern Africa and the Middle East, Eurasia, Pacific and Oceania, Western Hemisphere, South and East Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa. Representatives from the private sector, development partners, multi and bilateral institutions, NGOs, and etc. So it's a forum, this is Communique, is the all participants Communique. So it's very important to have the participation from all different stakeholders attending the forum. So just to give you some information about the time. So we will start our first meeting tomorrow, but all the information will be shared, as Ryan mentioned, in an email, and then will be shared also into the kind of the forum, the GCNF kind of
ça va être partagé encore, hein, ce type d'information.
Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you so much, Nadia, for walking us through the development of the Communique over the last several years, some of the key points that I think are important for us all to reflect on, both in how we were able to meet those objectives and also how we were challenged in our pursuit of meeting those objectives over this past year. As I alluded to at the beginning of this presentation, and I'll mention again now, as a wrap up to today's sessions, we will be sending out a communication to all forum participants with recordings of today's sessions in which we will be soliciting feedback, but also providing information on how to further engage in what we've covered today. First and foremost, the communique. As Nadia mentioned, every year we seek to bring on a core group of drafting partners, 10 to 12 individuals that will be able to join us for all or most of the listed sessions that you're now seeing on the screen. And within today's email communication that will be going out, there will be a survey link that you can follow to indicate that you would like to be contacted to be a part of this group. And we will follow up with participants as necessary to ensure that we have broad global representation in the core group. But that is not the only pathway that will be available to engage in the drafting of this year's Forum Communique. As indicated on the screen, we are offering a number of open access meeting sessions in which you will be able to join once or for all if you would like to offer your feedback and contributions to this year's Forum Communique. As this is the first year that we have hosted this event as a virtual opportunity, we understand that while virtual opportunities expand access for some, it can still be a challenge for others. And as such, a live draft of the Forum Communique will consistently be available throughout the event in GCNF's virtual marketplace booth. Along with this link, where you will be able to view the current development of the draft, there will also be an opportunity to submit feedback. For those of you that would be unable to attend one of these live meetings, we still want to ensure that you will have the opportunity to make your contributions to the development of the Forum Communique this year. In the upcoming session that we'll be facilitating in today's final session, we will be reviewing how to access the different activities within the forum, how to attend the panels, how to add events to your calendar, how to join optional sessions such as the Communique meetings and some of our workshop series, how to visit and make use of the virtual marketplace booths, and how to engage with other participants. A synopsis of all this information will be provided in today's email communication that will be going out to all forum participants. And we'll also always be online to collect feedback on how we can make the information more accessible to you, our forum participants. And with that, that concludes our formal review of the communique, as well as the process for how we intend to develop this year's communique. At the wrap up of the Wednesday session, we will prepare a final draft for participants that will be shared out by email for a final round of review, and that process will close the following Monday. After which, we will collect all final feedback, prepare a final draft, and would love to see you all join us for the conclusion of this year's Global Child Nutrition Forum on November 12th, where we will read the final draft of the communique before parting ways, hopefully to collaborate even more in the future. Thank you all for joining today's session.